I'm Myke Shrews.
I'm Tivis.
And you're listening to
the highly produced Munster Cast, apparently.
Episode 36. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Munster Cast, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters. I am Myke Shrews here with my co-host and friend Tivis. Tivis, how you doing today, my man?
I'm shocked with that surprise you had for me at the beginning of the. I was blown away by that. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. You know, got the new Time Force for Heroes of the Great Expansion next week coming. I got our D&D shows finally, our D&D we don't record it show thing is coming back tonight after 2 months, and
awesome.
We got a month till the movie, and I'm wearing this.
Oh, nice. Branded shirts for a logo that doesn't ever exist anymore.
No.
That's awesome. So real quick to get to some of the dirty work, I guess, you can find the Munster Cast on all social media platforms via Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can also check out our pretty ugly faces on YouTube, all via the Munster Cast YouTube channel. You can also email us at TheMunsterCast@outlook.com, and we will respond. You can email us your questions based on the Munsters, based on our show. Let us know how we're doing, stories about the Munsters and yourself. So yeah, I think that would be awesome for you guys to do so. And news alert as well, as of the episode dropping, Munster Monday it is today, guys. We have a new website that will be coming out. It is TheMunsterCast.com. And
Myke has put a ton of work into this, by the way. I want everyone to know when you go to this, it's all Myke. He deserves all the credit. It looks fantastic.
Well, now if anything messes up, then it's all me too.
Well, yes, that's the other benefit of doing this.
Yeah. So that is TheMunsterCast.com, and you can check it out there. We have everything set up for you guys, and some really cool stuff on there as well. And we even have a Patreon.com/TheMunsterCast, where you can find us and support us and join our Discord and stuff that we just set up for the Munster Cast, where we will be interacting hopefully with all of you Munster fans out there, where we get to talk about the Munsters and share Munster theories, Munster fanfic, all types of things Munsters related. And it should be pretty cool. I really hope that everybody likes what we're doing with that.
And to be super clear, nothing is being locked behind this paywall. The show is still going to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be as it is every Monday. We're not in trouble either, but, you know, if you would like to support us, hosting these feeds and everything, it does cost. So any little bit of support, greatly appreciated. You want to throw in $1, you don't want to, just want to listen, share it around. That helps us too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's awesome because it's another way too for us to get to talk to the fans easier, because email, it's like, oh, you email and this and that. Like Discord is literally right on my phone. It's like I'm going to see it almost instantly because I get notifications constantly from my kid on Discord. So
yeah, I'm on it all the time.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a lot faster, easier way for us to share stories and stuff like that with like-minded people and everything like that. And we only have 2 tiers, and they're both really super cheap. So again, we're not hiding any of the show content or anything like that behind the paywall, like Tivis said. It's just basically to help show support, and you get some little BTS stuff. Like today, there was some BTS stuff that's probably going to end up on there.
Okay.
From the beginning of the show. So it'll be interesting to see how well it works. And again, you guys are awesome. We love you. And that's patreon.com/TheMunsterCast. And then, of course, TheMunsterCast.com, which you can find everything there.
I was going to say, if you wanted to check out the shirts we do have available, it's on there. Those also help the show if you want to purchase one of those, and you get some cool Munsters swag. Yeah, definitely. I just said swag. God.
And it didn't sound awkward either, man.
That makes me sadder.
Yeah, no, that's definitely another option, everybody, if you want to support the show, but also receive something of like physical value. You can always just purchase a shirt and stuff like that. I mean, it's whatever, dimes or whatnot, but it still helps out the show. Plus, you're showing support for the Munsters, because not everything on our Munsters shop is the Munster Cast themed. So we don't put our logos on every single shirt or anything like that. So it's like legit Munster shirts that we're making for everybody out there. And it's all original. We own the designs anyways, even if like it's a design I might have stolen from a political ad and tossed on there. So
you shouldn't say that.
It's from freaking JFK, I think it was. So it's fine.
You've sufficiently edited it to make it a new image.
Yeah.
Before anyone comes for us.
Oh, yeah. Let's see them come for us from something from the 60s. Oh, wait. The Munsters is from the 60s, too. So it works out.
Yeah, so we hope everyone, we're sorry for taking this large chunk, but we just wanted to get this out there, let you all know. And so we'll jump right into the regular show now.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is there anything else that you wanted to share before we dived into this and let them know?
Well, I practiced that bit all morning. I was going to end with we're only a month away from the movie and I can't wait, but you threw me with that new intro. Also, I was super excited to show off that I got the shirt literally last night.
Yeah. And just so people know, the intro is only for the video Tivis is talking about. So the audio listeners are like, wait, what? So again, that's where you can also go and check out our pretty ugly faces by watching the YouTube video there. And you can click and like and subscribe, all the bell icons and all that weird stuff that all the YouTubers are always telling people to do.
And if you buy anything from the Amazon links we're sharing, that also gives us some kickbacks from Amazon. It's not anything extravagant. So
yeah,
I think the biggest show I've ever heard of who has one gets like 20 cents at most a month. So, but every little bit does help.
Awesome, man. So with that said, let's dive on into this first episode, my man. What we got?
All right. A Visit From Johann, who I called Joanne last week.
Yeah.
Can't believe no one called me out for that. Season 2, episode 26, aired March 17th, 1966. Written by Joe Connolly and Bob Mosier, who had normally been involved. Directed by Gene Reynolds. Let's see, the guests this week, we got 3 of them. We got Forrest Lewis as the motel manager. Helen Klebe, I think is how you pronounce that, as the manager's wife, who people may recognize as the first woman from Underground Munster when he was lost in the sewers.
Oh, nice.
One of the 2 women that he scared when he popped out asking for directions.
Yeah.
And finally, we have John Abbott as Dr. Frankenstein the Fourth, who played Aelborn in Star Trek and Leonardo da Vinci in Bewitched.
Gotcha. Dude, okay, your cat like bolted out the room and so fast that I thought it was a rat. And I was like, holy shit. That's a giant rat.
I don't have...
Then I realized you didn't live in New York, so you guys didn't have the big of rats.
Cats do kind of resemble rats. Anyone who has a cat, they just look like giant rats.
All right. So is that all you got for the beginning part there? So I can do that?
Yeah.
Right. For our synopsis, A Visit from Johann, March 17th, 1966, as Tivis previously stated, Dr. Victor Frankenstein IV from Germany visits Mockingbird Heights and brings with him Johann, Herman's look-alike cousin, who is far less civilized than Herman. And I have to tell you, because this is in my notes, I'm just going to say it. Did they call him Herman because he's German? Dad jokes.
You get one. What are you doing?
All right. So what we got going here, man?
So if we do seem a little loopy, it's because it's full disclosure. We have been out of here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. For recording, anyways.
Yeah, I've been out of town. We're coming back. We're getting back in the swing of things, so just bear with us. All right. So we open the episode with a late night phone call. And wow, my note says Heron. Herman and Grandpa both rushed to answer.
Yeah.
Grandpa knocks Herman down the stairs and gets his head stuck through the door. Grandpa answers the phone, and it's a long distance call to Herman from Germany. Grandpa looks at Herman stuck in the door and says, he's just outside at the moment. I'll go fetch him. So he opens up the other. Okay.
Go on.
I was going to say, he opens up the other door and you just see Herman's head sticking through with the door knocker in his mouth, looking at Grandpa like, I hate you.
It reminded me of like one of the door knocker creature from Labyrinth. Labyrinth. Not Pan's Labyrinth, but just Labyrinth with the puppets and stuff. So it reminded me because he had the door knocker just right in his mouth. I thought Grandpa was going to grab it and like do the knock thing just to mess with him.
Yeah, I honestly thought that was what was going to happen too.
Yeah.
So, Herman pulls himself inside, spits out the door knocker, and finally takes the phone. It's Dr. Frankenstein the Fourth. Grandpa says that's impossible. He's been gone since 1832.
He's been dead.
Well, they say gone.
No, he said dead.
Did he?
Yeah, he said dead.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to use the word gone. He's coming to the States and wanted to meet Herman due to their family history. They're practically related, honestly. Frankenstein tells Herman he made something that he will be bringing with him, which turns out to be a lie, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
As it will be more than a passing interest to Herman. And before Herman can answer, Frankenstein just hangs up. The doctor then walks over to the table and we see another Herman strapped to it, grunting like the classic Frankenstein creation.
Yeah.
It's Herman's cousin.
And then we go to credits, or intro, I should say.
Yeah. And Johann was actually spoiled for me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I was looking up photos. Remember we were talking?
Yeah.
And I found Johann.
Me too.
Was
like,
he?
I saw it and I was like, wait a minute. So, because we've seen Johann from images, me and you clearly before this episode, but in this episode, the getup that he's wearing is very reminiscent of what Herman or maybe Johann in the new Munsters movie is wearing.
Oh my God, it is.
It's very reminiscent. And I was just like, wait a minute. So I don't know if the getup is like an homage to Johann as
well
Rob
could
Zombie
be.
did that, or if it's like Grandpa got Johann to try and like mess with him and Lily, So now
I'm still
very
putting my
curious.
money on Charlie if we're getting another Frankenstein.
Yeah. Which, by the way, will come up in this episode, but because Charlie is just like never spoken of. All right, so let's go on.
All right, at breakfast, Grandpa's asking why Herman hasn't told Lily about Frankenstein coming to town. Herman says he's already arrived somehow and called again to tell him not to speak to anyone about his visit until they get a chance to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You should still tell your partner things.
It's really weird that they were trying to purposefully keep it from Lily and Lily only. It was weird.
It gets weirder later on in the episode. It's a matter of great importance, he claims. Grandpa's suspicious about this, and Herman says, he'll stop by on his way to work, see what's all about. I got something in my eye. Lily then continues. Then comes in. I'm sorry. Storming, chasing Eddie angrily. It's like, what? Why are you trying to curl your ears, kid? Herman tells him to listen to his mother because no child of theirs will be going to school to be stared at.
Yeah. Which they need to make up their mind of what they're going to tell Eddie.
Yeah. They always go back and forth about these things.
Yeah.
Herman. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on. I wasn't saying nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Herman then says he's off to work, and Lily reminds him to ask Mr. Gateman to leave early on Friday for their romantic getaway to Happy Valley Lodge together. I feel like this is the second or third time we've heard of Happy Valley Lodge.
It is, but I think it's the first time we actually get to see them go, because she wanted to go to Happy Valley Lodge in the previous episode.
Was that when they were voting?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it was when they were voting. And that's why she's like super excited to get to go finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wrote that in my notes. I was like, Happy Valley Lodge. Hey, she finally gets to go.
Yeah. And she's excited because there's going to be thunderstorms. It's going to be just like a second honeymoon.
Yeah. Yeah. So real quick, where are we? Herman's about to go to Dr. Frankenstein's place.
Yeah.
Now.
We're about to see Frankenstein's apartment.
Because he says he's going to work, but no, he's not. He's going off. Herman lies way too much, man.
He does. Especially to his wife.
And he's very good at it too. Well, he's just like, I'm just going to go to work. Like, you know.
Half the time I think he just forgets, and it's not just a lie. He just literally doesn't think about it.
Or he does go to the parlor. He just goes to the other place on the way or afterwards or something, you know?
Yeah, he arrives at work. He's like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to stop somewhere. So, yeah, now we're seeing Frankenstein's apartment where Herman's cousin, still not named at this point, is eating a chair. Victor tells him not to eat the respectable hotel furniture.
Yeah.
He begins walking towards like Frankenstein with the chair. I'm like, whoa, are we about to get some WWE stuff here?
Right. The mannerisms that Fred has throughout this entire episode as Johann, especially here, and we see it later on too, when he's experiencing like the house and stuff. I am just like so like baffled at the fact that just the change in the mannerisms and the grunts, you really believe this is a completely different character.
Oh yeah.
Like you totally forget about the fact, but I did write down my notes. Why do they, at least in this universe, all the Frankenstein monsters have literally the same face? But then I started thinking it's like maybe Universal did it on purpose, because whenever they do generally a Frankenstein monster film, Frankenstein's monster usually always looks the same. So I wonder if that was like a take on, they all look alike type of thing.
Here's an interesting little thing for my trivia. I'll just say right now.
Okay.
The director of this one, he wanted Fred to imitate Boris Karloff's performance as close as possible from the 1931 film.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So they did a real good job in this episode, and I got a couple more, at least one more trivia fact when we get to it. About how, because you remember when we got him turning into a person and they brought back the effects and like the person who did the lightning and stuff for the Frankenstein movies.
Yeah.
They tried to do a similar thing with this one, with trying to pay really good homage to these classic films.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Universal's bread and butter before Fast and Furious ever came out.
Of course, you would bring that up. So, yeah, he's advancing on Victor Frankenstein, and Frankenstein's like, oh, no, you don't. You're going to go back to your closet. And he grabs a torch from the fireplace and chases him. Like, that's a bit harsh, but
so this is where we actually finally get to see, too, that because we questioned, is Herman afraid of the fire? And clearly he's not. From what we've seen.
We'll see that later.
It's because this is like the original Frankenstein's monster, like basically.
Possibly, it's hinted at. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he locks him in the closet and says if he doesn't behave, he's going to take his brain out and put it in backwards, which seems awfully harsh to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that moment, there's a knock on the door, and it's Herman. Victor tells Johann to be quiet. Company is here, so that they don't have to do ADR too much with Fred. The two men exchange pleasantries, and Herman reminisces about his great grandpa. Victor tells Herman that he has a sensitive matter that he wants him to look at. Herman says he hopes it's something his wife would want him looking at, and smirks. The cat just scratched my stomach. So Victor goes and lets Johann out. And this is where we learn his name too. And where I immediately go, wow, I screwed that up last week.
Because you said Joanne, right?
Yeah. I was confused. I'm like, okay. Because I remember when I first saw the image, I thought it said like John or something like that. Because I briefly looked at it because I was like, oh no, I don't want to know too much. Yeah. So Herman gets scared of his cousin and asks if he's safe.
Yeah.
And Victor says, oh, he's absolutely under my thumb, before grabbing the torch again and chasing him back to the closet. Which, by the way, I have been clipping and sending to my wife.
Yeah.
Like, if we have guests that stay too long, I hope you know this is what's going to happen.
Get back. Out the door now.
So
I'll go on. Victor then starts to explain to Herman what Johann is.
He's like, what do you think about Johann? He's like, oh, he's handsome, but there's not much on the small talk. He's like, well, would you be interesting in how I ran into Johann? Herman says, the faces like that don't grow on trees. So yeah, tell me.
Yeah, he's like, faces like mine just don't grow on trees. Which I'm like, are you sure?
So we get the tale of how the original Victor Frankenstein, before he created the perfect specimen in Herman, he had a couple of near misses, Johann being one of them. So he very likely could be the original Frankenstein.
Right.
Or Frankenstein's monster, if you're weird.
In this section, I was expecting them to mention Charlie. No mention of Charlie whatsoever.
Yeah, this would have been a real good chance for them to do that. They might have forgotten Charlie exists at this point.
Just to mention him, not to necessarily bring him back, but like just to mention him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. is Charlie one of the other misses? You know, is Herman the older twin in those two relationships? I got a couple of questions now.
Are they really twins or are they like triplets? Because he says this is like also he says that Johann is his cousin, but realistically he'd be his brother.
Yeah.
Like I think that they screwed that up. Like they didn't think about
realistically, Herman is also like Johann's great uncle or something like that.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because again, people say Frankenstein's a monster. Frankenstein created him, therefore Frankenstein's son, therefore he is a Frankenstein.
But Herman's a Munster.
Hey, people can change their last names if they want to. It's fine.
Was he adopted again?
I wonder if he came up with that himself, because we know that Grandpa's a Dracula.
Right.
So I'd be curious if they're going to go into that in the movie. Like, did he come up with his own last name? But getting back to this episode, though,
yep.
He's been surviving on his own since 1815. He's uncivilized and would chase the villagers off, scaring the maidens horribly. And Herman's like, yeah, I used to do a little bit of that before I got married. Victor says he's been polished by, Herman has been polished by civilization, but Johann needs his rough edges knocked off. And Herman thinks Victor wants him to go in the closet and beat the crap out of his cousin. No, don't do that. It's like, no, I want you to take him home so that he's used to living with people. But,
basically, they want him to be domesticated is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, can you take him home and, do whatever happened to you? Because, I mean, Johann's been roaming around the woods for hundreds of years then, supposedly.
Yeah. The problem here is he immediately goes, keep it a secret from your family. Wouldn't it be more advantageous to have him with the family and learning?
Right. Otherwise, like how we see him in the next scene, he's just like tied up in the dungeon.
Before we get that, we get this weird thing where apparently Victor Frankenstein the Fourth is a telepath.
Yeah. He's like, he uses telepathy to like train him and like get him to.
Yeah, he hypnotizes him with his mind through walls.
Which, though, I mean,
is he the first mutant?
The first mutant. Professor Frankenstein.
Charles Xavier in this building now. Herman naturally is bewildered by what's going on as Johann comes out looking blissfully,
So would Frankenstein's like school be, would his group be the F-Men instead of the X-Men? Because of Frankenstein, F. Makes sense, man. Makes sense.
You get one dad joke an episode.
You don't know how dad jokes work for dads, do you? Yeah, so then we go back to the dungeon. And Herman is they have Johann strapped to the table and they're trying to, I don't know how you're trying to domesticate someone when they're strapped to a table, but okay. It seemed like he had more freedom in the closet.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but Herman,
another euphemism was Johann coming out of the closet.
We get the scene where apparently Herman is a telepath as well because he uses the same trick to calm Johann down.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, wait, is everyone a telepath in this universe now? Like,
what is going on?
And they're trying to get him to basically read this like first grade level reading book or something about like sees whatever run. He runs fast. Run.
Yeah,
and they're trying to get they're trying to get Johann to repeat.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Row,
yeah, he's run."
He doesn't get the words out at this point. But he kind of gets the R's, which is just him grunting anyways. And Herman's like, see, he's getting his consonants and shit down.
An important thing to note is for some reason he's dressed like Herman now. And they actually address it because Herman goes, look, the jacket looks great on him.
Yeah. He's like, picked it up at the thrift shop or the Salvation Army.
When he starts grunting, though, Herman turns to Grandpa. He's like, look, he's already improving. And Grandpa's like, I don't think he is. Then Herman notices it's 1:05 and he's like, oh, shoot, I got to go tell Frankenstein about the progress we've made. And Grandpa looks at him like, why?
Yeah.
What progress?
There's nothing. And then Herman goes upstairs.
Immediately ambushed when he goes upstairs.
Right. Both by Marilyn and Lily. And they're like, hey, what's going on? What are you guys doing? What's all the noise? What's all this? What's all this?
We hear grunts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if this episode was just better remastered or reproduced or whatnot, but it looked a lot clearer. Like you could see more facial reactions from the women in this episode than usual. Or maybe it was just because they actually gave them a little bit better, closer up angles right here.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Because like I was watching Pat or Marilyn, and you could see the different facial reactions coming from her. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Nice. So, yeah. So then Herman ends up just dodging all their questions, even though they're like up in his face.
I got a sore throat. Grandpa's been helping me. Got laryngitis or whatever.
Yeah.
Before he heads off, though, he's like, hey, Lily's like, don't forget, Mr. Gateman, work early Friday. Do it.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I remember. You know. But yeah, we get another shot of the lab with Grandpa still reading to Johann.
Mm.
He's like, hey, say run. He wants, he just starts hooting. Yeah. Grandpa's like, this is a waste of time. So he like gives up and decides he's gonna go. He decides he wants to go watch Life Can Be Wonderful, which I imagine is a soap opera.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a soap opera or what was going on, like what the show. So, like you said, the show name kind of sounds like a soap opera for sure. Yeah.
And he also wants to find lizard livers. And as the show ends, because it ended on too much of a usual note, you know, some people passed away. There's some irreversible illnesses, nothing exciting. And some cartoons start playing.
Mm.
And at this point, Johann has escaped and is coming up the trap door.
Did you notice that they actually do a really cool throwback to a few episodes ago where Grandpa was dropping the do not enter signs into the dungeon? So then we get the actual sign on the dungeon again, like keep out. And it was like there with a little tack and stuff. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So that was a great gag too.
Yeah.
Do not enter Herman.
Yeah, it was just one sign this time, but it was still like do not enter or whatever.
Oh, I gotta go back and rewatch this one.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's fun. So yeah, then Johann comes upstairs, and this is where like I really started to feel like the different mannerisms and the grunts really make you buy this is a completely different character and not Fred as Herman.
Yeah.
Especially because he's wearing Herman's clothes. You're like, this is still not Herman. Like, there's no way I can believe this.
The acting in his face this episode, just top notch, especially with interacting with this lamp.
Yeah. The lamp was just like, he's just like,
he's like playing with it. He accidentally turns it on and destroys it, which if anyone was walking through wouldn't be uncommon for Herman.
Right. A lot of the things that he does aren't that uncommon for Herman, especially when Herman throws like his fits and stuff like that. So you could see it. And then he goes over, he sees that the TV's on and the tunes. So he just sits down and just starts watching the tunes, and he kind of like sits somewhat how Herman does, but just a little bit differently. There's just a little bit of a difference in the way that he is sitting compared to how Herman sits. Because I was thinking about it. I was like, Herman sits like this. And then I was like, wait, no. Herman sits just a little bit further back.
Yeah, he's more relaxed.
Yeah. So he's watching the cartoons and he's enjoying himself. Yeah. He's loving it.
Did you notice what cartoon that was?
No, I did not.
That is Calvin and the Kernel, which was produced by Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher.
Ah.
Yeah. Bringing in some of their old products.
They're like free PR.
Yeah.
So
Lily comes in at that moment.
Lily comes in, yeah. Lily comes in and she's like, Herman, what are you doing? We gotta go. Like, we're leaving to, Happy Valley or whatever it was called.
Johann just grunts at her. Or he like growls kind of.
And she's like, come on. She's like, goes over there and just starts pulling him up and gets him to go. And he's like grumpy.
She turns the TV off.
Yeah,
like,
which pisses him off. He's like, and she's like, oh, your laryngitis.
It's gotten worse.
Come on, let's go. And then they up and leave, and Grandpa watches them leave. He doesn't think anything of it because it's like, Herman's clothes. And
Grandpa comes in, he's like, hey, bye. Where are they going?
Yeah. And then some time goes by. Correct. And then this is where Herman comes into the living room.
Kind of. Let's see.
I'm trying to recall
this
happened.
Is where she's talking to Grandpa. She's like, oh, I got a great deal at the lodge for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And during this whole conversation, oh no, this is in the car. I'm sorry. But while they're talking to Grandpa about going, Johann's looking around like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Then they're in the car and Lily's like having a nonstop conversation about how she got this great deal on this great weekend and they're gonna have so much fun. Johann's just like, thumb. Starts sucking his thumb. She's like, look, what's the matter with you? And he grunts at her. She's like, will you stop mumbling and just talk to me? He then says run a bunch or run and look like a bunch. And Lily's like, oh, your throat must be really sore. He begins to suck his thumb and then his other hand comes, bats it away. And he starts sucking the other thumb.
Yeah.
What? It's a weird touch, but it works so well. This is where Herman announces that he's home, as he always does.
Yep. I'm home. And then he realizes no one's really around, so he walks over and sits down, watches some TV.
No, he grabs a newspaper.
Oh, grabs a newspaper, yes. Mm-hmm. And sits down on the couch. And this is where Grandpa comes in. And
it only just now notices the trap door is open.
Yeah.
How long have you been home?
and then realizes or thinks that Herman is Johann. And he's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, come on, you big oaf. Like, and Herman's just like, wait, what? What's going on?
He's reading and he's, which I kind of get. Because when I start reading stuff, my wife tries to talk to me. Does not register. I'm in my own world. She gets so mad at me, but I'm like, look, you gotta get my attention or I'm not gonna hear anything. When I get reading, I'm focused. All
right, you hear that? Next time that you need Tivis's attention, just stand in front of him and take your top off, and hopefully that gets his attention.
I'm gonna need to get
I'm not gonna say your wife's name on air, just to keep privacy, but still.
It's happened my entire life. I remember I used to sneak books into high school instead of listening to teachers, and I'd start reading, and then it's my turn to ask or answer a question, and I'd look up like, what?
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. So anyways, this is where like Grandpa's like, all right, you're not going to go. And he grabs a giant torch out of the fire. He goes, yeah.
And Herman's like, The heck, Grandpa?
Grandpa.
No place for a self-respecting Republican to act.
Right. And this is what I was texting you about last night. This is like proof that, at least Grandpa is the conservative type, which we were asked a few weeks back or months now.
We have definitive
this is definitive proof for you. I believe it was Chelsea that asked the question. So this is proof that at least Grandpa himself is a conservative, well, Republican anyways.
A 60s Republican.
A 60s Republican, which is basically like your Democrats now. Loosely.
Kinda, I guess. I don't know. They've had a long, interesting change in both groups. Go look it up if you're curious, but yeah, like I heard them say that, and I was like, oh, there's our answer. And we actually both were like, yeah, the Munsters are more conservative than the Adams family. So this is even more proof showing that they're more conservative to the core. For Grandpa, at least, not shocking.
Right. No, not for Grandpa easily. I mean, he did want to do the whole election rigging shit too, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up.
No, I'm just saying, like, as in Grandpa's more into the politics from everyone on the show.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's always bringing up and referencing different political aspects on the show. He even ran
for mayor, which is what your shirt is based on.
Yeah.
This is a reference to actually Al Lewis. There hasn't been an episode you've missed where he's running for mayor that we know of.
Yeah, Al Lewis was he was a pretty political guy, I think.
Yeah, Green Party.
Yeah. Anyways, so this is where Herman learns that Johann got
he's with his wife.
He's with his wife out in Happy Valley Lodge.
And he took his new fishing pole.
Yeah. And Herman's pissed off. Like, he is pissed off.
He lets it sink in for a bit. He's just sitting there. He's like, oh, he's with my wife.
Yeah.
Huh. Then he just destroys the couch.
He's like, I'll kill him. And he just beats the shit out of the couch, man. I was like, holy moly. Like, he was legit pissed. So, yeah.
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 And the couch, like, we've seen it get smashed before. It is pulverized. He knocks both the arms off, the back falls off. I think the bottom slides onto the ground.
It slides down, yeah.
So they tried to call to get through to Lily, but forgets where he's calling. He doesn't know the area code for it either. Now, this is interesting to me because I'm sure a lot of our audience kind of skews towards the our age or older, but area codes weren't a thing when we were kids. I mean, they existed, but they weren't required. It wasn't until we were teenagers that it became mandatory for you to have an area code in the phone number because they wanted to get rid of.
Well, I think you need the area code all the time just to call long distance.
Well, yeah, if you're calling
area code and then the phone number.
Yeah. See, this is another one that you're going to have to look up on your own because I don't know the full history of it. But
if you were in the same area code,
yeah, you could dial perfectly fine.
You could just dial the
phone number.
7 numbers, is it right? Yeah, the 7 numbers.
Yeah, and
you were good. If you were out of the area code, you had to dial 1 plus the area code and then the whole number. And then recently in the 2000s, early 2000s, they set up where you just have to dial the area code because there were a lot of cities and stuff that were, at least I know the city we grew up in, they split up in the 2 different area codes for that thing because there were so many people. So some cities have multiple area codes now, which is crazy.
There's even more now. We have 2 area codes because with cell phones and stuff, they've surpassed the amount of phone numbers they can have twice over.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's the cell phone industry really like made it basically mandatory to do the zip code or the area code.
And it used to cost money to call other area codes too, long distance calling.
Yeah.
Or what was we're getting way off topic. No one cares.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he needs the area code for it. And
more you know.
Yeah. So he hands the phone to Grandpa because the operator told him to put his dad on, which he does, father-in-law. Grandpa yanks it out of his hands and begins explaining what they want. Herman rants a bit and begins smashing his head into the wall. And Grandpa's like trying to talk to the operator, but he can't with the noise that Herman is making. He's, will you quiet down? He's like, you got to speak louder. The stupid son-in-law is banging his head.
And he just leaves this nice big rounded out oval shaped indent in the wall. Yeah.
And I love because we transition into a commercial break now and it just fades out with Herman banging his head and Grandpa like yelling at the operator, yelling at Herman.
Yeah.
So that was great.
I wonder what the commercial was that popped up right after that for the first time.
Advil.
Do you have a headache?
Yeah. So at the lodge, Lily's setting out dinner and asking Herman to light the candles. He lights the match, drops it, and runs to the closet in terror. And Lily is getting super annoyed. Back to the house. Grandpa announces they finally got through, and Herman demands the phone. Back to the lodge.
Yeah, they do a lot of nice back and forth in this part here, in this section anyways.
Lily's feeding Johann grapes. And he's like, yummy, yummy, run.
Yeah.
So
it gets awkward here because she treats Johann better than we've ever seen her treat Herman. And it's awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, they're on like their basic, it's like a honeymoon basically, or like their getaway. It's like the parents are getting away so that they can get some from each other basically. And you can see it in the way that she's acting. And they do that stereotypical generic thing where it's like the woman wants it, I'm like, that's not real life, guys. Can we stop? Like, that's not.
I'm not even going to comment on that. So the phone rings and he throws her off his lap before running back into the closet in fear.
Yeah.
She answers and is confused because Herman's in the closet. And this confuses Herman because she says, I'm in the closet. And Grand's like, give me the phone. Because he's like, am I there?
And then she's like, or Grandpa's like, this is Dad. She's like, Dad, what are you doing? Stop messing with us. Or stop pretending to be Herman and calling up here and messing with our date.
Yeah. She hangs up on him and Herman
which sets precedence to Grandpa messes up their stuff. So precedence for Rob Zombie's film.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, I could just like Grandpa strikes me as the person who's just we know he's an a-hole. I could see him.
Say he's a little baddie?
I could see him getting bored and messing with them. Yeah.
Come on, that was a fun one. Tivis will not entertain my dad jokes. Are you not entertained?
So Herman begins banging his head on the wall again, and Johann pokes his head out and says, run, 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 play, play, play. Yeah. And Lily thinks this is some kind of game and giggles.
Yeah. Like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah.
More things I'm saying. This is not reality.
This one I'll agree with. Grandpa and Herman go to Frankenstein, and he tries to use telepathy to get Johann to return home, but it might be too far away. And Herman tells him, look, the area code's 416. And Frank's like, oh, thank you. Like, that's going to help.
Yeah.
So, that had me cracking up though. He's not like, why do I care? He's just like, oh, thank you. That helps narrow it down. So Lily's back to feeding Johann grapes when Johann gets the signal, stands up and walks through the wall of the lodge, and he heads to Victor. Victor doesn't feel anything and thinks he's botched it.
Yeah.
But then Johann bursts through the door.
Which, how far is Happy Valley Lodge from where they are?
I have that in my trivia. We will get to that. Well, possibly I have it in my trivia. It's unknown, really. I'll just give you the short answer. Herman's like, where is my new fishing pole? And then Lily comes storming in after him. Herman, where the hell are you going? And then Victor asks her, like, look, you need to let go of my creation. And she rounds on him. This is my husband. And Herman goes, no, I'm your husband. She looks at Herman, looks at Johann, looks at Herman. It's just like, I'm not going to get excited. And this is where it took a turn I wasn't expecting with that statement. And then she like screams and relocks herself in the closet, which is really not where I expected it to go.
Yeah, she freaks out. She freaks the hell out. And but I like rewound to that statement that you said. I was like, wait. What is she hinting towards? Like,
yeah, that's what I got too.
Is Lily a little freaky? Because there is Charlie too.
I know.
So I'm
that's what I thought too.
Wait a minute.
I thought I might have went to that too. So Herman and Grandpa try to get her out as Victor demands that she leaves Johann's closet. Yeah. Which got a laugh out of me. That is Johann's closet. Get out. So now we're back at home. Everyone's explaining to Lily what's going on. Once again, another whole situation that could have been avoided by just talking to your wife. Communication. So
some people, man.
Yeah, this is what they should have done day one, like flat out. She says she thought he was acting unusually stupid last night, which, she's bad.
Yeah.
Granted, Victor decides he's going to take Johann back overseas to get a private tutor and tells Johann to say goodbye to the nice people. Johann says, run, 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 and winks. I couldn't tell if he's winking at Lily or winking at Herman, because Herman's smile changes immediately.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if it was a wait, what? Or the statement that's about to come out of Lily's mouth.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think about it until she said it. So Lily gets a look of, oh dear, at Herman, which is, I'm thinking other things might have happened, but not going to touch that one. Herman picks up the first grade book and Grandpa asks him why. Herman responds with wanting to know how it ends. And I absolutely know what he means. I have to finish every stupid thing I begin. I read Twilight. He walks away reading aloud to himself, and Lily looks at Grandpa and goes, do you think Frankenstein could have accidentally mixed them up?
Right.
Grandpa goes, nah, even if he did, there isn't that much of a difference to worry about.
Is there really that much of it? There's not enough difference, really? And she's just like, yeah, I guess so. So I'm like, wait. Oh, Lily.
Well, she looks at him. She's kind of angry and then looks like, well, he's not wrong. Like, okay, now we have to wonder forever. Is this Herman or Johann that is staying?
I mean, Johann would have had to really pick up his speech, though.
He would have.
Within a day or less. So I would think it's just Herman still.
Yeah.
But how many times do you think Herman and Charlie change places when they
Not at all, because they can't even imitate each other.
I don't know. Herman kind of walked a little like Charlie when he was going through his whole Hollywood phase.
Yeah, but he didn't talk like him.
No.
Charlie has that vernacular of
This was a good like what was that thing called? Parent Trap style type episode.
Yeah, very much
a little
so.
bit. So yeah.
Yeah. I before we get to trivia, I'll just say I really enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I will definitely be watching again because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, this was a fun episode. I enjoyed it, and I will watch it again for sure, especially because there's so many like little things that happen that you're like, wait, is this? And how freaky is Lily now? Like, maybe people should watch this episode before they decide that, Morticia Adams is the better one. As some people like to say.
So trivia I got. Last time we saw Fred play a dual role, it was Knockwood. Here Comes Charlie, if anyone has forgotten the title of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I already talked about the cartoon. Grandpa's giving reading lessons to Johann, similar to how the blind hermit did in The Bride of Frankenstein from 1935.
Oh.
So
nice.
Another little connection there.
Yeah.
Herman refers to Frankenstein as an English guy in error. I have issue with this little trivia goof on IMDb because that seems in line with Herman to me.
For what now? Say that again.
He calls Frankenstein an English guy instead of a German.
Yeah.
Right. So the area code 416, it is one of the original 86 area codes introduced in 1947. That's an interesting fact I didn't know about, but it is specifically for Toronto, Canada. So if Happy Valley is in Toronto, how did Johann get back to California so fast?
How did Lily get back so fast?
Well, she's a vampire. She can bat.
Get batty.
So, while Lily is
bats, what the fuck does that mean?
I know what I said. I said it on purpose.
Is this like Hotel Transylvania where he's just flying outside the plane instead of in the plane?
Hey, we've already heard Grandpa say that he used to carry the family on vacations. They never needed planes before. So these bats are incredible. And if you look back at the scene where Lily is driving, the steering wheel of the Munster coach does not move at all. She slides her hands around the wheel. She does not turn it.
That whole slide, like this thing anyways, where you're moving the wheel so drastically, it's bullshit. You don't drive like that. If you're moving the wheel like that, you're getting pulled over for drunk driving. I always get annoyed when I see movies doing that. It's like, oh, we got to show we're driving. Bro, just don't move it so much and I'll believe you more.
Unless it's a really bumpy road. Then it's believable.
Even then, like,
oh, dude, the freaking streets in Toledo, you drive it all over the place trying to keep your
if you're
car
driving like the way that they drive in movies with both hands on the steering wheel and turning it like lightly each way. So, and like I've seen some of them drastically turn it. I'm like, you need to be up in your dashboard almost because you're driving like an old grandma or something. Like if you're driving like that, there's something that you really need to be paying attention to in the road.
Yeah, so that's just interesting
Driving
stuff
lessons.
I had. You ready to jump into the next one since, we got limited time today?
Yeah.
Right.
Just so people know too, where we've changed recording days and stuff like that. So some things are going to be changing here and there. So, but we'll still come out Munster Mondays.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So Eddie's Brother season 2, episode 27 aired March 24th, 1966, written by Dick Conway with Norm Liebman and Ed Haas involved. Ezra Stone directed this one. And once again, we got 3 guests. The first one, Roy Stevens as Boris the robot. He played Kenny in the 76 Carrie movie. I figured you would find that interesting. His brother Rusty Stevens played Larry Mondello in Leave It to Beaver. Rory appeared as a guest playing a younger Chucky Murdoch in a number of episodes.
Okay.
If you remember, the people who created Munsters also created Leave It to Beaver. So
yeah.
Wendy B. Coulter as Sally. This is her only other credit was in Magic Locket, where she played During Kid, and she was also a panelist on the Jack Barry show. She's only got 2 acting credits. This was her last.
Yeah. I looked her up because I was like, who is this? Because I thought they put her at the end and they were like trying to make this thing where she was like somebody we should all know. A
new reoccurring character. I know.
Yeah. So I was like, who is this person? Like, who is the actress? Maybe it was supposed to be like another child actor from another famous show or something. So I was like, yeah, I got to know who this is. So,
and finally, we got Vito Scotti, who is uncredited as the Roman broadcaster. And if you recognize his voice, it's because he was the man on the radio from If a Martian Answers, Hang Up.
Speaking of, we open the. Is that all you got right now?
Yeah. You got synopsis, though.
Oh, damn. Because I was going to go right into what you said. All right. Eddie's brother, March 24th, 1966, as Tivis previously stated, Eddie longs for the companionship of a younger brother, so Grandpa builds him a robot named Boris. But Eddie becomes resentful when Boris's good behavior garners all of Herman's attention and admiration. Dun, dun, dun. I forgot that in the first one. So real quick, to dive on what you just said about the character from Martian Calls Don't Answer the episode.
Yeah. If a Martian answer.
Yeah.
Hang up.
if we start this episode out with them at a table with a radio again, like that episode, and I feel these props were exactly the same ones from that episode.
Is that what Marilyn and Lily were fixing?
Grandpa was, Marilyn and Grandpa and them, they were fixing like a radio. They called it a radio this time, and he was trying to find the right fuse.
You know
or
what?
Light bulb.
You might
be
right. Exactly, yeah, because Grandpa comes up with an old tube from the dungeon.
Yeah, so it was like an old fuse or something.
Yeah.
And they plug it in, and they turn the radio on, and they get this really old broadcast.
Yeah, it's a bulletin from where Rome burned.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there was even any radios back then. So that's incredible that they managed to get that.
Look, Grandpa got footage from like Pompeii and stuff.
Yes, so. he created the what did he say in that? He's like, how did you get footage from all this stuff? He's like, it was harder than you think.
Yeah. I still think Grandpa is a time traveler too. And he just went back
time
in
lord.
Time. Yeah. He's the next Doctor Who. Which, by the way, if people do go check out TheMunsterCast.com and check out our little bios, it says that Tivis is a Whovian.
Oh, you actually wrote something for me? I thought you were going to leave it as me being lazy.
I did write that too.
Oh, okay.
All right, go on.
So yeah, he seems satisfied even if the tubes are real old. He's like, I'm looking forward to listening to like this other historic event.
Yeah.
It's like that. So Eddie comes running down the stairs and asks his mom for the 3rd time today what his dad is coming home. And Marilyn is like, what is so important?
Yeah.
Garber's like, hey, can I help instead? And he's like, nah. No, I want my dad. And Lily's like, well, he's having trouble getting cabs on his way home. It's like, no wonder. Excuse me, I'm sorry. No wonder we see him walking all the time or being in the carpool. Herman says Herman finally comes home. He's like, hey, everyone, I'm home. He's like, look, Eddie has a problem. You want to help him with it? Herman's like, wait. No, my son who inherited my looks, personality, and my talent has a problem? And Grandpa's like, yeah,
Yeah,
besides those.
Yeah, besides all of those. He's like, yeah, besides all that shit.
Oh, Grandpa, always digging.
Such a jerk.
Like,
he is always digging in the backyard to dig up some bones, remember?
Yeah, or burying bodies. He's like, Eddie, what's wrong? I'm too embarrassed to say in front of the whole family. He's like, can I whisper it to you? He's like, all right. So he whispers it to him. Everyone's like, Then he faints. And the Raven makes an appearance, which they don't credit the Raven's voice, but it does not sound the same to me. So I wonder who
he
it was.
He talked really fast, so I didn't hear the tone of the voice, but yeah, maybe a different person.
Lily comes over. He's like, what did you say to your dad? And he's like, well, I just told him I want a baby brother. And she's like, oh, and then faints as well.
Oh, you want a baby brother? And Yvonne falls down, and dude, I swore she almost nut checked Fred because her hand just smacks right above the crotch line. I was like, oh, that could have been horrible. That could have been horrible.
Retake that shot. Or just have Fred writhing in the background.
I wonder if they did retake that shot, or if they made sure he had some padding just in case.
So we come back from the intro. Lily's talking to Herman, who has a giant ice pack on his head. I'll point out. Lily's like, hey, he probably just wants a friend around the house. I had a lot of brothers and sisters growing up. I understand. Yeah. And Herman's like, well, if he wants a friend, I can do that. Lily's like, well, what about the age difference? Lily, when has that? Do you remember the kid from the season 1 finale?
Well, I think she was more referencing for Eddie's sake. Eddie wanted a younger person and stuff.
I think it's also the whole connecting with youth thing. We're old, out of date. The whole, what up, my fellow high schoolers?
Don't do that again. Please don't. Please don't.
You make dad jokes, I'm going to do embarrassing, weird things.
Dude, no.
Steve Buscemi can do it. I can.
Okay, daddy. Shut you up.
So Herman says all you have to do is think like a kid, and I'm good at that. Then he gets up and starts skipping around before falling into the open trapdoor. Lily comes in, or Grandpa comes in, and Lily's like, look, he's practicing to be a child. And Grandpa just looks at her, practicing?
Yeah.
Grandpa has a lot of good digs this episode.
Yeah. I don't have anything else for it there. I was looking at my notes real quick. I was like, wait, did I put something there?
I hit my hand.
Good.
So we get Eddie in his room holding Woof Woof.
Mm-hmm.
As Herman begins knocking on the door, and Herman keeps calling Eddie his pal, my buddy, old pal. And that a Looney Tunes reference, and tries to play some games with him to no success. Eddie looks extremely sad during this entire exchange, and Herman winds up Eddie's plane that he picks up and lets it fly around the room before it goes out the window. Eddie's like, you've lost my toy. And Herman's like, oh, it's just down in the yard. Let's go get it, you baby. Then it comes zooming back and hits him in the back of the head, knocks him into the wall. That a painting falls off. He knocks the dresser. The plane's decimated, and Eddie's really unhappy now. He's like, look, if you want to be my friend, just do me one favor. Give me a baby brother.
Right. And then Herman's just like, well, shit.
Guess we're going to have another kid.
Yeah.
So as he goes downstairs, he bumps into Grandpa, lost in thought, or Herman's lost in thought. Grandpa's not.
Yep.
Grandpa's like, hey, what's up? Herman's like, Eddie is determined to have a baby brother. So I'm going to go talk to Lily about it. And Grandpa's like, oh, you're just going to talk to her?
That's not how we get women to do what we want them to do. What talking? What? It's basically is what Grandpa said.
Yeah.
Is saying.
Herman's like, well, I think it'd be a good idea to let her in on it too.
Yeah.
Grandpa tells her, no. You have to manipulate her by subtly convincing her she wants another kid. Go get Eddie's baby items and just leave them around.
Dear young audiences and older audiences, do not try to manipulate your spouse. No. That is punishment and torture and abuse.
Yeah. But Herman likes the idea.
Herman likes anything Grandpa says because he's too stupid to realize what Grandpa's actually saying. Does he not realize that Grandpa gets him in trouble more times than, he
himself
actually helps him?
Yeah. Well, it turns out Herman can't find Eddie's things. So what does he find?
He finds all of his old clothes, his baby clothes and stuff like that. His baby bonnet, he pulls out these baby blocks. He's, oh, my blocks, my childhood blocks, and smashes them together. He's got
a steel teething ring that he bites on.
His baby booties, which look like giant sneakers almost.
They have that down here too. They're shoes for grown men.
Yeah.
It's because like Johann, he was born full grown.
They weren't born. He was created.
I mean, aren't we all created in there?
He was built.
Our cells come together. We're built.
From when? At what point?
When? I don't know. That's up to your parents. You got to talk to them. See if they remember. Yeah, he also gets his baby bonnet out and puts it on his head.
Yeah. My face is really red today. What is this?
Because I'm embarrassing.
Right.
He grabs his old baby rattle and begins rattling it. It sounds like a bell on an old train conductor. Where they used to ring it to let people know, hey, we're about to take off. Now you're messing with your saturation levels.
I know. It was contrast.
Whatever. You movie term knower.
There we go. There we go. All right.
So
anyways,
Marilyn and Lily pass in the hall. Like, do you hear what's going on in there? Oh, yeah. At this point, Herman's making baby noises, by the way.
Yeah, he's making goo goo ga.
He's got his bonnet on.
And it's interesting to see him doing this after we just saw the episode with Johann, too, sounding a little bit like the same thing.
Lily walks in. It took 151 years. So Herman had a birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
But it finally happened. Herman has entered his second childhood, which we know is a thing because Grandpa has had 3 of them.
Yeah. Apparently, when you live too long, you revert to a child. It's like reverse Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Or no, it is Benjamin Button.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, we all return to diapers and can barely walk, so.
That's why they say the good die young, man.
I love Marilyn's quip here, though, where I didn't think that plane hit him that hard.
Yeah. And then Marilyn or Lily's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what is going on? And he's like,
you don't get the picture?
Don't you get the picture? I want to have another kid, basically. Like, we need to have another kid.
Still making baby noises. So.
And he's like, just, Eddie wants another, brother or sister or whatnot, a kid to play with. And Lily does the very logical explanation.
Yes, I really liked this whole exchange right here.
Yeah, so Lily goes on and she explains that, okay, so Eddie is 10 years old. 9 years old, sorry. He's 9 years old. So while Eddie is 9 years old,
which if you say so.
Yeah. If we have a baby right now, by the time that baby is 9 years old, how old will Eddie be? And He's just counting on his hands, as Tivis was in the video here.
Oh yeah, there's audio as well.
and he's just like, well, there's only like one real answer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
which is,
and she's just like, well, 18, man, 18. He'll be 18.
If you say so.
He's like, if you say so. And then she's like, so if Eddie was 18 then, when the new one is 18, how old will Eddie be?
Oh, no, he says, I'll accept your answer. That's what he says. So, yeah. It's true, He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to be wanting to play with a 9-year-old at 18.
Right. Right. And then, so with that said, he's like, how old will Eddie be when the kid is 18? And he's just like, Eddie will be like an old dude, like 30 or 27. Like, it's actually 27. But he's like, I don't know. An old guy. Oh yeah, he's not gonna want to play with a little kid. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I got it. We'll have a 9-year-old.
She gets so frustrated with him, insults him, and just storms off.
Yeah. And honestly though, I thought about it with this episode. I was like, this would have been the perfect opportunity to go back to the adoption stuff that they did before when they adopted Herman, because in that episode we did see how many kids they actually have in the foster care system in their universe. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so adopt a 9-year-old. Mm-hmm. Granted, that's a lot harder than what people think. But maybe in the 60s it was a little easier. I'm not sure.
According to that episode, it's real easy.
Right. I think that was a special occasion because he was like an adult.
They still made him go to court over it.
Yeah, that was weird. And so I don't know. I just thought it would have been a great episode to re-dive back into the adoption process of everything.
Would have, yeah.
So,
but Grandpa comes up and he's been thinking this over and he's got a solution to the problem.
Yep.
Oh boy. In the lab, Herman makes fun of Grandpa. I forget what he says, but Grandpa just looks at him like, I'm here to help you, stupid.
Right.
He's like, look, Boris, the new child-sized robot I built. And Herman's like, you're a genius.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the first thing in years that I agree with you.
The robot brother that is somehow a better construction of the Tin Can Man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I'm like, oh, he just took Eddie's old idea and ran with it.
Right. So,
oh my, no,
what?
I was just thinking, I know they said that Butch is playing Tin Can Man, but what if it's actually Boris? But I doubt that. I doubt that. No. I'm going to squash that right here. So we get Eddie and Boris in the living room playing while Grandpa reads. What is he reading? Did you see it?
Grandpa reads?
Yeah.
I did see it. I don't remember what it was called.
Tomb and Garden makes its reappearance.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So Marilyn, Lily, and her comment on Eddie looking real happy to have a brother. Marilyn and Lily. Well, I'm reading the same line again. Herman comes home, loudly announcing his presence as per usual. Myke is opening something I can't see. Lily asks him how his day was, and he says he got to drive the go-go wagon most of the day. Oh, he's got glasses on. 3D glasses. It's looking like the 10th Doctor up in here. Yeah, I got to drive the go-go wagon most of the day. So, I got to enjoy some fresh air for a while. It was a lot of fun. Which we saw he got his license, so he can do that.
Yep.
Boris goes up to by the way, you asked on Twitter what people's favorite episode is. That has to be mine, where he goes to get his license.
Okay. Of all the episodes
that we've seen so far.
Okay,
maybe it'll change. We'll get into it after we finish season 2.
Yeah.
Just if you haven't answered and you got a Twitter account, go answer the question that Myke posted on our Twitter account. Just plugging that while I can. So Boris goes up to Herman, takes his lunchbox, and Herman's like, "Oh, well, thank you." Lily says, Boris has been a lot of help around the house today. They then begin discussing dinner. Herman makes a bad joke, to which Boris is the only one who laughs. Grandpa rolls his eyes. Lily fakes a laugh before running out of the room with Marilyn.
Yeah.
Herman begins talking to everyone, and he starts sweet talking Grandpa, and Grandpa's like, "Save it. Here's the funny pages."
He's like, "You don't have to sweet talk me, Herman. Here's the funny pages." And then Boris walks up over there and grabs them from Grandpa, turns around completely, and then hands them to Herman. He's like, "Oh, thanks." And then Herman goes and sits down over by Eddie to read the comics. And
Boris gets him a footstool.
Yeah, we see Boris in the background just grabbing a footstool for him, and puts it over there and puts his feet up on him. He's like, "Oh, thanks, Boris. Like, you're such a good, like, well-behaved boy." And you see Eddie just like rolling his damn eyes.
Facial expressions, like you can tell he's getting annoyed.
Yeah, you can really see it. Okay, these 3D glasses are making my vision really messed up because it's making the whole computer 3D. Gotta stop that.
So during dinner, they're eating dragon for the first time, and Herman notices that Eddie hasn't touched his food. He says, "Look at Boris's plate. He cleared it off. Did Boris even get food?"
Maybe it was like oil or something.
Maybe. Yeah. I have a feeling they just put an empty plate there and Herman forgot that it was empty.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why can't you be more like Boris?" Eddie explodes and storms off.
Oh, yeah. And this is like a perfect one. Like, he's angry. Well, first of all, they say something before this happens, where she says that Eddie's green around the gills. Yeah. So that made me question. I was like, so is Eddie just like a mashup of everyone in the entire family?
Yes.
He's like a vampire. He's like a werewolf. He's like Uncle Gilbert. Like, Eddie's just like whatever the hell they want. They're like, "You know what?
I don't think he actually has gills, if that's what you're getting.
That's what I'm getting at.
No, that's an expression. That's
Tivis, not in this family. Okay.
That is a fair assumption. I will give you that for this family.
Anyways, yeah.
Can I just say I really enjoy Butch's acting this episode? Like, I know he's not been bad, but he's clearly gotten a lot better throughout this show.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because he's young.
He's younger here, but learning. They also give him better. Probably he had an acting coach too. I'm not sure what his career was before this, of course, but we looked it up. It's been so long though. Yeah, but they probably got him an acting coach, but they're also giving him more to work with rather than just hiding in a cabinet.
Yeah, we haven't had that in a long
fireplace.
Time.
Like I watched.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I was watching Butch Patrick's YouTube channel. Butch Patrick has a Munsters YouTube channel. Everybody.
Oh yeah. Go check that out.
If I remembered what it was called, I would put it in the video here.
I'll look it up real quick.
So yeah, like he has a YouTube channel where he's watching just random stuff and he's talking about, what cabinet am I in this week? So like he knew like it was kind of bullshit. It's like they just put me in whatever they could fit me into. So I was like, that's funny. But yeah, so yeah, it's a cool channel to check out if you guys want to check it out. I think Tivis has it. Do you have it? No.
I am looking.
Okay. I'll pull it up because I got it in my thing. All right, continue on with this.
Coast to Coast, I believe.
No.
No.
No. So continue on with the story.
No. Yep. Nope. That's not it. You are correct. So yeah. Well, anyway, if you could find it, he's got some really great stuff up there. I feel so bad we don't have it. But so Boris feels bad that Eddie's upset, so he brings him a game. Eddie's like, I don't want to play no stupid game with you, and knocks it out of his hands. And Lily's like, why would you do that? Go upstairs to your room right now.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody hates me, and goes back up to where
pissed too. Everyone hates me. And it's a really good recreation of like what, kids kind of do in this scenario. Like I as someone who grew up in the house where we had younger kids or new kids come into the house all the damn time, it's kind of how you feel. So yeah. And I did find the YouTube channel name is called All Things Munsters.
How did we forget that?
I don't know. I put it up here in the video description if you guys want to check out All Things Munsters YouTube channel.
And by description, he means it's on the video feed
on
itself.
The video screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's Butch Patrick going through different Munster stuff. And I think he even does his a thing with Uncle Fester, like where he talked about him and stuff like that. Because as I had previously talked about before, the actor who played Uncle Fester is where they got the law for child actors and stuff like that for payment and all that crap. So anyways, All Things Munsters YouTube channel by Butch Patrick. Check that out, guys. Anyways, continue on.
Boris
I just want to say that like Eddie's reaction to Boris and stuff is very reminiscent of real life stuff that not just like kids go through, but kids go through it, but animals even go through this too. It's like they get super jealous, man.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Can I just comment on how you told me to continue with the story, and yet you just picked right back up with the thought you were having before you found the YouTube channel? That was impressive. I got to give you props for that, because with my brain, I would just completely forget what I was talking. All right, so back to the episode this time. Boris brings a book to Herman requesting a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Herman agrees, and he's like, why don't you come up on Uncle Hermie's lap?
He calls himself uncle to Boris too.
Yes.
So this
the same thing he does with the neighborhood kids.
This makes me question, because like he's supposed to be Eddie's brother.
Yeah. So are they not fully adopting him into the family?
So did they not adopt? He's not calling himself his dad, so he's calling himself uncle. So therefore, my brain went to, does that mean Boris is the son of Tin Can Man, which Grandpa made? So Tin Can Man is actually the son, like figure to Grandpa.
Ooh, well, Eddie helped create him too. It was Eddie's concept, so wouldn't that be Herman's grandkid? Robot?
Grandnephew? Grandnephew? I don't know. But I think Grandpa had more to do with Tin Can Man.
I mean, Grandpa built it, but it was Eddie's idea.
It was Eddie's idea, but Grandpa built it. Therefore, as you say, Frankenstein built Herman. Herman would be a Frankenstein. So in this way, Tin Can Man would be the son of Grandpa, which makes Boris, if Boris is Tin Can Man's son, like the second edition, second volume, therefore he would be Herman's nephew / uncle.
But then Grandpa also built Boris.
But he's volume 2, so that's like second generation, therefore uncle.
But I mean,
shut up.
We were Charlie and Herman earlier, same. Okay. So Herman begins flipping through the book until Boris picks a story, and it turns out to be Herman's favorite, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Eddie comes downstairs and sees Herman reading to Boris and runs out the front door in anger.
Yep. He gets super jealous that Boris is getting like the attention, the book read to him, everything. and he just dips. He's like, screw this, man. In his PJs with woof woof and everything.
So Boris begins snoring.
Yeah.
Lily runs down because Eddie is missing.
Eddie's not in his room, and he's not even hanging in the attic. Marilyn
Herman
checked.
Freaks out and wakes Boris up on accident before rushing into the organ. And I mean literally into. He runs into it.
I literally thought he was going to literally run through it. Like I thought we were just going to get rid of the organ finally, and just Herman was just going to, there was going to be like,
I mean, they might as well have
imprint.
with the destruction he caused to it.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to have the gag of like, you see the imprint of Herman through the piano. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
But Lily blames Herman for hurting Eddie's feelings. Herman says Spot can find him. We haven't seen Spot in a while.
Nope.
And as they go to the stairs to give Spot the scent, you can see the animatronic just sitting there off to the side, not moving.
Yeah. They did a few of those in this with Spot. You see a little bit more of his like staleness or him on his wheels in this episode than we have in previous episodes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'm sure it was time constraints. They couldn't they get it properly in the time to film it.
Yeah.
But, so he's like, hey, go fetch Eddie. Spot rushes out the door.
Oh, no. Before that, they have him Spot smell Eddie's like clothing or whatnot to get the scent. And he takes like this. Like, I thought they were going to just have him blow fire and burn it, you know, but he sucks in air and you just see everything like carpet from the stairs gets folded into it. And it's funny too, because Herman and Grandpa's hair doesn't move at all. But Lily and Marilyn's hair gets messed up like hardcore. I'm like, oh man, how much like crap is in like Grandpa and Herman's hair to keep it just still.
It's mousse, man. It's mousse.
Yeah.
I
wonder if they're just hair pieces too. They're just like hard, crusty hair pieces they had to wear.
Well, you know, Herman's his head's flat. I don't think Fred's head's flat unless horrible accident.
Maybe. You never know.
Spot rushes out the front door and turns out Eddie's just in a tree in the front yard.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eddie's in the tree and Herman's like, don't worry, I'm coming. Like he's in danger or something.
Yeah. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Get down here. He's like, no, I'm going to die up here because no one cares about me.
Yeah.
This reminds me of when he ran away and wanted to get eaten by cannibals. Because people care too much.
Yeah.
They did not care about him. That's what made him upset that episode. That was a weird one. So he's like, he's like, look, you all like Boris more. And Herman's like, look, I was just repaying the kindness that Boris showed me earlier. Boris hears this and walks away. He's like in the door frame of the house and just walks off view. And it's like, Herman continues, and I thought this was actually a really nice thing that he was saying. It's a lesson he learned from an old Andy Hardy picture. I don't have the quote, so don't zoom in on me. He then gets Eddie to come down, who apologizes and asks if Herman still loves him. Grandpa answers for him by saying, of course he does. He's just too stupid to show it sometimes. Which is very sweet of Grandpa to say.
Yeah.
So they walk inside. Grandpa freaks out that Boris is gone now. And they spot him in the kitchen with a bindle. They all rush to him and like, no, where are you going? He's like trying to leave the house. And like, how could you do this to your family? Boris simply points at Eddie, then to Herman, then to himself. And Grandpa explains, Boris thinks he's responsible for Eddie leaving. Eddie says, no, it's not your fault. I'm just really dumb.
Yeah. He's like, it was my dumb fault. Like, I literally thought he was going to just be like, it's not your fault. It's Dad's fault. Like, it's Pop's fault, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Don't show favoritism to your kids. Like, even if you have one, don't let them know.
I don't think that he was really showing favoritism. He was just,
being nice. Yeah.
Being nice. And I don't think that
I think Eddie's too used to being a single, this happened to me when my sister got born. Not the older one that I don't live with, the younger one that I do live with. 7 years just me and my mom basically. And then, my stepdad as well. And, well, I guess her dad before my stepdad, but, it was an adjustment for me. I was used to it just being us. And now all of a sudden we have to, we have my sister with us and it hampers doing things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier is like, it's a legit thing that kids get that way. Animals get that way, especially when the new young kid comes in. Dude, I remember when my dickhead of a brother who's probably listening was born literally the day right after my birthday. So my mom, you asshole, was in the hospital my entire birthday as I was a kid. Thanks a lot, dickhead. You know who you are.
I think those are the first swears we said today.
No, I dropped the F-bomb earlier.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Then we're good. Is this the brother I like or one of the many I don't?
You know him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you mean you don't like? You've never met any of my other brothers.
That's why I don't like them.
He's like, I don't like anybody I don't meet.
I don't know them. How could I know if I like them?
It just makes you sound like you hate them. At least two of my brothers I know for sure listen to this show. So
hopefully I meet them one day too. So I can start to like them. Boris says, wait, what did I say? Boris says he won't leave and, they all bond. Lily is opening a letter that she's reading. We have a jump cut to the living room, by the way. Lily's opening a letter that she reads aloud to the family. They sent Boris to live with Uncle Garrett and Aunt Mina on their ranch in Death Valley, which are two people I hope we meet in this movie. Because I want to know what their deal is. If they're anything like Uncle Gilbert.
Or maybe they're other like robot like family members.
Maybe. What if Uncle Garrett is the Tin Can Man?
Yeah.
So, and they built him a wife. So we went through all of this for him to leave anyway, basically.
Yeah, because like as we were getting towards the end of the episode, I was like, wait, is he going to be a recurring character in the next couple episodes?
They need an excuse to get rid of him.
Yeah, they always do this too. They always, like even Johann, they got rid of Johann right away.
What are you talking about? He's got a private tutor.
Oh, he's being taken apart. If this was nowadays,
that's dark.
They would be taking him apart like they did Vision in WandaVision. Spoilers for that. The U.S. government would be taking Herman apart like that. They wouldn't have let him join the military.
Yeah. Then again, they wanted to win a giant war, so you take all the strong, giant, scary people you can get.
But it was usually like, at least when you see movies and stuff like that, is usually the Nazis that had the Frankenstein monsters in their team.
Are you talking about the Helsing movie? Not Helsing.
There was literally one called Frankenstein's Army.
No, not that one. It's the one with a Wolverine.
Van
Helsing. Yes.
Yeah.
We're getting off topic again, and we really got to wrap this up. So, let's see. Grandpa says he was a good kid for something he slapped together in a couple hours. Probably Grandpa's best invention, honestly. Herman says it's a good thing they sent him away. Harsh. Mostly because the second grade wouldn't accept him without a birth certificate.
Yeah.
Marilyn says someday she hopes those prejudices will be gone. Lily worries about Eddie being alone, and Herman says it will be a while till he gets over it. Cut to Eddie hanging outside with a girl saying he barely thinks about Boris since he met her. He's in love now.
Yep. Which we know this doesn't go anywhere because she's never comes back.
Yeah, sadly.
So before you do the trivia, I was going to reference this because I thought about it. Do you think that they named him Boris in reference to Uncle Boris, that Grandpa mentioned in the 100th anniversary episode. For those that don't remember, like Grandpa was looking through the family album and says, "Oh, there's Uncle Boris. He was a real swinger." And then we show the picture and it's him with a noose around his neck.
Oh, yeah, very likely. Or it could just be a random name they picked and didn't even remember that character existed. But I like to think in universe, probably.
Because that would be awesome if that's legit, like what you writers were doing. You writers who probably aren't alive anymore. I'm sorry. That's dark. Yeah, so that's all I had for that one.
So
I was just curious.
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
I like the performance Butch gives, not Eddie. And I think it touches on, it's another episode that touches on great topic of you know, accepting or changing the dynamics of families.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you got for us besides that?
So when they're talking about making dinner early in the episode, Lily mentions TV dinner, which during the rising popularity of TVs in the 50s, these became a regular indulgence of people. And this is how they obtained their iconic nickname of being, you know, TV dinners. Around the same time, TV tray tables also rose in popularity, leading to this stereotypical combination of the two.
Okay.
So that's just an interesting little fun fact. Cause she's like, you know, I was thinking TV dinner for, you know, to have. And I was like, well, that's normally like the lazy choice in today's world, but I guess back then it was still like brand new and cool.
Yeah, definitely. I hope my audio's been good for everybody today.
It's been solid for me, so I hope it shows.
It's a new mic, so I'm hoping that it works out.
So the first robotic arm was invented in 1954, which led to the rise of robots in stories, you know, science fiction. We may have actually mentioned this fact in the Tin Can Man, but I don't remember, so I'm saying it now. The noise that Boris makes as his eyes light up is very similar for Rosie Emerald and could potentially be the same, but it is not confirmed.
Okay.
The toy that Eddie and Boris are playing with in the living room is just an erector set. For anyone curious.
Yeah.
They actually used clips from this episode during the reruns of the show in the 70s.
Okay.
Got two more here. When Eddie is 9, Butch, the actor, is actually 13 at the time of the filming. In the episode, the last episode with the original Dr. Dudley, Herman tells the doctor that Eddie is 10 when he goes to check out the beard. For Eddie's nickname. I just remembered the episode title.
Yeah.
So this could either mean that they forgot Eddie's age when they were writing the story, or more likely, Herman just doesn't know how old his son is.
I don't think either of them know, but Lily's the one who said that. The 9-year-old whatever.
Which then Herman says, I'll believe you. So when they're reading, before they start reading the Goldilocks, Herman mentions that he wants it made into a movie with Doris Day. It ultimately did get made into a live action movie, but not until 1995. And that's the last trivia I got.
Okay. Cool. Real quick, I want to remind everyone, check out All Things Munsters, Butch Patrick's YouTube channel. It's got some fun stuff on there where Butch Patrick is actually talking to us. And don't forget to check out TheMunsterCast.com. That's where a lot of our cool stuff is going to be. I'm going to try and start doing some like article type blog posts or whatnot, Munsters related, hopefully soon on there, and you can find all of our links on there, but you can also find us on patreon.com/TheMunsterCast as well. Oh geez, I'm getting the burps. And
you're getting that thing I normally have.
ultimately you can just email us at themunstercast@outlook.com, and we appreciate every email that comes in, and we appreciate everybody that just watches and or listens to the podcast, man. We love you guys. So,
and who shares it with their family and friends,
yeah.
The support for the Munsters, the revival that seems to be going on, maybe it's just because we're steeped in it and it looks like all of the fans are finally coming out of the woodwork around us. It's fantastic to see.
It's awesome to see. And we appreciate every one of you, and every one of you that is listening. If you know other people that love the Munsters, share us with them, because we want to build a Munsters community of people where everyone can just, come together and talk and just
a Munsters empire.
A Munsters empire. We will rule Transylvania once again.
No. This small house in California.
On 1313. What we got for next week, my man? Do you got those?
No, I don't.
Or do you want me to put them on the screen so you can read them out loud?
If you want me to read them, sure.
All right, there you go.
All right, so next week, join us as we talk about Herman the Tire Kicker and A House Divided. And if you have not realized, we are only 3 weeks away from finishing the original series.
Yeah, 3 episodes from finishing the original series.
Well, 3 episodes of us. There's like 5 or 7.
5 episodes total.
Yeah.
3 episodes for the Munster Cast until we are finished with the original series, and then we will be doing some other stuff, which Tivis, wanted to ask everybody a question for the following stuff.
Yeah, so we will be moving into the movies once we're done with these. We're gonna obviously do the original cast movies from the 60s, where they are in beautiful Technicolor, not black and white, and they won't be black and white again, ever. And so we were thinking about moving away from doing these, scene by scene breakdowns and just talking about the movies in general, like how we enjoyed them, scenes we liked and stuff like that. Because you see us talk about just 2 20-minute episodes. We're going on almost 2-hour episode here. So we don't want to do 3-hour long breakdowns of these movies. So we were thinking about moving away, but if you would like us to continue doing the scenes, please let us know, and we'll think about it.
Yeah, definitely. We want to know what you guys want for the movies, and we'll see what the reaction is from you guys based on how many people let us know.
If you really want us, if we do just talk about them and you want us to do scene by scenes, we can go back and maybe that can be part of our, the website or the Patreon or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, so we really want to know your guys' input. Let us know in the comments of either the video or, like I said, email us or tag us on social media, all that stuff. And again, if you just go to themunstercast.com, you can find all of the social media links and all that stuff up in the top corner there, and everything else. Every link that we have is on that website. So it's honestly the best place to go to do that. You can also watch all of our video content there if you don't necessarily go to youtube.com, or you can also just listen to all the podcasts there if you actually want to sit in front of a computer or you're doing something, you don't want to use your nice apps out there. Which we also would like to say, if you're listening to us on social apps like iTunes, Spotify, Podchaser, all those other ones, definitely leave us a review, rate us. It definitely does help push us so that more people can see our content. And we want more people to see our content so that we have more fan base for everyone to communicate with each other. So,
and I apologize for the long episode this week. We ran a little long in the beginning before we started, but
definitely
Myke has worked really hard on some of this stuff. So I wanted to really emphasize, the new stuff we got for you guys to enjoy.
Yeah. And I also want to point out, because I've been noticing Mr. Daniel Roebuck is in our comment section on our Facebook page.
He's chatting with he's such a nice guy.
he's a great guy. So if you guys want to possibly see some of that, I know he's in a lot of the Munsters Facebook groups too, and he's very active in those as well. So join some of those if you're not a part of them. Follow us on Facebook so that you can check out and interact with him a little bit in the comments of some of our posts and things like that. Other than that, Tivis, do you have any final words, my man?
Check out I Married a Munster.
Check out I Marry the Munster. Awesome. Well, with that said, guys, we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Ooh.
Ah.
The lesson I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.